Hey everyone, Jarek here. Welcome to my gun guide for the current most controversial weapon in all of Battlefield 1, the Model 10 shotgun. Do note that the community at large considers this weapon to be rather overpowered, so it may be nerfed sometime in the future, but it was essentially ignored in the last patch, so who really knows. I'll be upfront in saying that I do think the Model 10 Hunter is rather overpowered, and I'll be getting into that in this video. There are three variants of the Model 10, the Model 10 Factory, the Model 10 Hunter, and the Model 10 Slug. Let's go ahead and get the Slug out of the way because it is so different from the other variants that I can't really compare it to them. As you probably guessed, the Model 10 Slug fires a solid slug. So instead of firing a bunch of smaller pellets, it fires one big ball of lead. It's the only shotgun variant in the entire game to do so, and you can see why I can't really compare it to the other shotguns. It will kill someone in one shot up to 10 meters away, which is actually pretty bad considering the regular shotgun variants of the Model 10 will kill people in one shot up to 15 to 20 meters away. It will kill someone in 2 shots up to 53 meters away, and anything past that will take 3 shots. This sounds good, in theory, but ultimately it's pretty bad once you realize the muzzle velocity is only 380 meters per second. To give you a comparison, 380 meters per second is the same muzzle velocity of that of the Hellriegel and Automatico. Very slow, so shooting someone at range with it is not really your most viable option. I can't really think of a time this variant would really be very useful unless you were a god at getting headshots, but that's much easier said than done with that slow of a muzzle velocity. What you're essentially trying to do is turn your shotgun into a pump action DMR that loses to other DMRs in the game and loses to other shotguns up close. Again, it just doesn't really win anywhere. I think the last time slugs were actually useful in a Battlefield game was Bad Company 2, and since then, unfortunately, they've just been kind of garbage. All of the other stats are shared with the Model 10 Factory, with the exception of the spread, obviously. So let's go ahead and talk about the Model 10 Factory and Model 10 Hunter, the two variants you are most likely going to be using. These two variants are very similar with only small changes between the two. Both do 8.4 damage per pellet up to 15 meters away and drop off to 4.2 damage per pellet at range. The fastest all three variants of the Model 10 are able to fire is 78 rounds per minute. This is the slowest of all shotguns, the trench gun being able to fire up to 138 rounds per minute, and the automatic shotgun able to fire at 257 rounds per minute. But if it's so slow, why is it considered so overpowered? Well, the answer lies in the number of pellets it's able to fire. The Model 10 fires 20 pellets per shot, whereas the trench gun fires only 14 pellets per shot, and the automatic shotgun fires a measly 11 pellets per shot. I still need to get recording of the automatic shotgun to make a gun guide for it. Please kill me. But this really is the deciding factor as to why the Model 10 Hunter is so much better than the trench gun Hunter. They both have the same range, but the Model 10 fires more pellets, meaning that even though the Trench Gun Hunter and the Model 10 Hunter both do 8.4 damage per pellet and their damage starts dropping off at 15 meters away, you have more pellets going down range, and this effectively gives you more range than the Trench Gun Hunter. Not only does it give you more range, but it also gives you more consistency. You are still using a shotgun. Even though it has a very tight spread for a shotgun, you are subject to the pellets going into a random spread within your grouping. With the shotgun, having the best consistency is key, and the Model 10 by far has the best consistency, having by far the most number of pellets. The Model 10 also has the same muzzle velocity as every shotgun in the game with the exception of the Model 10 Slug at 333 meters per second. From here on, we can talk about the differences between the Model 10 Hunter and the Model 10 Factory. These two are very similar, and the only real difference are the spreads and recoil. The Model 10 Factory has a horizontal and vertical dispersion of 2.25, whereas the Model 10 Hunter has a horizontal and vertical dispersion of 1.8, so the Model 10 Hunter has the tighter spread. The recoil between the Model 10 Factory and the Model 10 Hunter are the same. The recoil up is 11, left is 0.8, and right is 1.2. This means the gun is going to have significant recoil upward and a little to the right. The recoil decrease is better on the factory version, however, at 4.5, whereas the recoil decrease on the Hunter is 3. The higher the number the better here, although both these numbers are laughably low, and the gun does fire fairly slowly, so you should have no problems putting it back on target. The first and only real big win for the factory is that the spread decrease is 18, whereas the spread decrease for the Hunter is 4.5. This means you're able to spam the factory much better than you can spam the Hunter, but as a whole the Model 10 is not really a shotgun you want to spam. You generally want to actually aim before you shoot. If you're looking for a spammable shotgun, I would recommend the trench gun. As a whole, it doesn't make a big enough difference for me to recommend the factory over the Model 10 Hunter. The Hunter is clearly the better variant with an insane amount of range. You are now more wise as to why everyone hates the Model 10 Hunter. It legitimately invalidates other shotguns in the game. To make things worse, maps like Argonne Forest quickly turn into Shotgun Forest. It reminds me of Team Deathmatch No Share Canals in Battlefield 3 when one person would use the SPAS 12, someone else would start using the SPAS 12, before you know it half the damn team is using the SPAS 12. Except Battlefield 3 got away with this because the guns were stronger in Battlefield 3, which is something I would love to see come back even though it probably never will. In Battlefield 1, most SMGs kill in 5 shots, and at 20 meters away, some of them are going to kill up to 7 shots, and that's just frustrating when you have a gun that can kill you instantly when you have to shoot 5 shots into them, and that's the SMG's primary, perfect engagement range. What are you supposed to do? You can't do anything. You can see why a lot of people are getting very frustrated at the Model 10. But that about sums up my gun guide for the Model 10. You are now more knowledgeable as to why this thing kind of needs a nerf. Next up is going to be the auto shotgun, which I need to get recording of it. If you don't hear from me again, I've killed myself out of frustration.